Hello, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to do some hoops on the single cab Miss Purdy, because it has no hoops, as you can see. And what I did get off Oven Boy was hoop bottom sections, which these are just an aftermarket bottom bracket, which goes like so, something like that. But they're just really flimsy and don't like them. So we're going to remake them. We're going to use a couple of the mounts off them and make it telescopic, like his one, because his one actually telescopes right up, so you can have a band play on the back of it. I will show you some footage of that, because he's almost got the stage finished. But I just want the hoops on there and the timber, so we're going to make that today. We've got to do a little bit of fabricating. We do have a template here, which I did get off his single cab, and you can see that's the curvature on that top hoop section. So we're going to have to try and mimic that, and we'll see how we go. So one of the first things we have to do is just get these brackets off. Just cut these brackets off, because I want to reuse these, because obviously they're all factory spec, I suppose you could say. So we're going to get the grinder, chop them up, and then what I've got here is this is what we're going to be doing. So one of those is going to be there, and one of them, bear with me, I'm trying to do this single-handed here. You can see we're going to have a telescopy business going on like that. So it'll mount there, and then when you want to, you can raise it up, put a pin in the side of it, and then bring it back down again. So that's the idea of it. So let's get chopping. We've got to cut some brackets. Okay, those bits are done. We'll go and sandblast them, and we can get them ready for welding. Let's go. So we've got a bit of tigging to do. I just thought, why not? Might as well keep practicing. Obviously, these little brackets on the bottom are just going to be welded on the sides, like so. And we'll just get these nice and square so that we're not all cockeyed. And yeah, get this stuff all welded up. So I will make myself comfortable, because that's what it's all about when you're welding. If you're not comfortable, then it all goes pear-shaped. So everything has to be comfy. Okay guys, so we've got all these little suckers, you can see there, welded them all up, and the rest of them are done. We've just got to put the little tabs on the sides now, and then we can get these things blasted and painted black, and then add the center section, bolt them onto the spot along here, and then we can go from there. So we've got all these welded up, and we're just going to give them a quick lick of black paint. This is just to stop them rusting for now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to make them look disheveled but I'm just going to put a satin black on them just for now, just to see how they look, and then we'll go from there once we get the hoops, the rest of the hoops made. So let's give them a quick cut. Okay, so we'll just let those flash off. The other blue sections, I'll worry about those later. Now we're going to get on to bending these hoops up, and we've got to come up with this template here. I'm going to do it in quarters, it's just going to be easier. I'll probably chop the steel right at that point there, and then just bend this section, and then add the curved part later, which we're going to have to do pie cuts to do that, because it is RHS. So Yeah, let's work that one out. Okay, so what I have done is I have just put the hoop down, found the center, which is this line here, and then as you can see there, I've just married up the dot or the line to where it's going to be cut. Well, I might not even cut it, we'll see. But yeah, just use the bender and just put little incremental bends in it to try and get that radius right. And then obviously from here to here, there is really no other way apart from pie cutting it and then having to re-weld it. So we're going to do that now. We're just going to put in a ton of just cuts along here, and then we're going to bend that down and match our radius that needs to go. And I've obviously done the other side too, so if I flip this over, it's a mirror image, and we've still got to do one more hoop. So let's get some cutting done. This will be fun and games. Okay, so you can see there, that's the pie cuts, quite a lot of them, but we've at least now got the radius perfect. So now it's just a whole lot of buzzing it up with a MIG and then flapping it back with the flap wheel, and then obviously we do the same to the other side and we will have one hoop done. Let's keep moving on it. And there we have it, one hoop done. Obviously I have to weld up all those little holes, or cuts I should say. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah, I know you're probably wondering, why is this hunk of junk back in here? Well, the rear seal, axle seal's gone again. This is the third one, and I found out there's a groove in the axle, so I've got to get a stainless sleeve put on it, otherwise it just doesn't hold the oil and it keeps dripping onto the caliper. And yes, I hate these cars sometimes. Anyway, let's get back to this. We'll go and do the second hoop now. Let's get it done. Okay guys, so it's the next day, and what I have done, just off camera because it was a lot of grinding and I didn't want to get any more dots on my lenses, right, from sparks. You can see here a lot of relief cuts to get the curves right. Obviously that one's not quite right, it's all, you know, we just got to, I mean, you can bend it and do what you want with it. The idea is now is I'll set that up on a template on our piece of MDF over there, and then I can just come in here and strategically weld and get the shape right. These are the parts that go on top of the actual hoop, so I've got those ones chopped and I've just installed them on the ute, and I'll just show you now. It's in the top garage, hang on. That one's just in position. I've bolted these on already, and you can see I haven't welded anything here because obviously I want to make sure the radius is all perfect. And there's the front one, same deal. I've just popped them into position. And again, all I'll do now is just come and put some tacks to keep this right on the curve. They are exactly the same, front and back, or close to it anyway. And then we can get those other pieces which are going to go between the timber and this. And that's, yeah, that's the section goes on top, so the canvas goes on top of the next hoop that we're going to put on. So anyway, that's what they're going to look like. They're obviously going to be adjustable. You can see this one here wants to slide right down. And I'll just have a pin through them and they'll be bolted in and ready to rock and roll, and the timber on top. All right, we'll keep going. So what we're going to do first, because these are just not really doing anything, I wanted to make sure they were going to slip in and out. You can see if I do that, they'll go up and down. But I'm going to weld these now, just tack them so that the shape doesn't move, front and back. So we'll just put some tacks on them. Then there's just going to be a ton of welding and obviously chamfering back to get that to do its thing. But the shape's perfect, so pretty happy with that. So now it's just going to be a ton of welding, and we'll set up the MIG. We're not going to TIG this, otherwise I'll be here for 1,000 years for sure. We'll just MIG all this because it's really just filling in the hole. So let's go and set the welder up. You can see there what I've done. This is going to take ages. As you can see, I've got to weld up pretty much all those little lines, but that's just got my shape perfect, and I've just used the template off there to make sure the radius is right. So now we'll just go on this side, repeat the process, and then we can go to the front ones and get those done. Let's keep going. So this one's been all ground back. I've still got to go through some finer grades of sandpaper on it, on the orbital, but you can see I've just set them up out here and we're just grinding away using a 40 grit and an 80 grit on a flap disc. And you can see I'm just going over the top of these, just get them nice and shiny and flat. I've just got to come on the inside now and grind all that. A little bit of work. I don't want to get grinding dust on the lenses, that's why I haven't videoed it, but if I put it back here maybe. Okay guys, so the next thing we've got to do is the top sections. You can see I've just clamped, and I'm going to have to go just along now and tack these welds. And that piece there is going to go in between the timber. So the timber is actually going to sit inside, in there. But obviously you want the two to follow the right radius. These have to be trimmed back and they'll replicate the original ones. You know, I'm sure people will say, why don't you just buy some original ones, or, you know, repos? They're like 900 bucks. It's like, I am not paying $900 for something that I can fabricate up in a couple of days. So not going to happen. These are going to be, I'm going to make them telescopic too, like Oven Boys ones. So you can actually raise it up and lower it down. I'm going to have it in a low position for driving. And then obviously if we want to raise it up, we just put a couple of clips in through here and you're good to go. So that's all resting on the original hoop underneath. Let's tackle this, and then we can pull it off and then fully weld it all up. Okay guys, so it's the next day again. I've just been taking my time with it. These are now ready for some primer and some black paint. I have welded a little tab on the top here, which is going to have something of a bit of a surprise later on to show you guys.
Oh, surprise.
But you can see I've actually drilled the holes where the timber slats are going to go on, and also these guys have obviously all been ground back. They've also got their holes drilled in them as well, nice and shiny. So yeah, we'll give them a coat of some primer and then some black epoxy. I probably could have powder coated these, but again, you know, have to fire up the huge oven, and I'm like, yeah, all right, let's get some coat of primer on them. There we go, nice and shiny black. I think it'll probably dry a little bit duller than that, but at least they're done. We'll have to, because it's epoxy, it's going to take, you know, 80,000 million years to dry, so it'll be a tomorrow job to assemble it, but that's okay. We're going to get on with doing the timber slats now. So they are going to be, let's see, what are we doing with them? We're going to sand them because they've got some sharp edges on them, and then we're going to coat them in some Sickens. And this is a 077 pine, and it's a transparent UV protected kind of sort of a stain anyway. But we're going to get those stained because obviously they can't stay like that. So let's get those prepared and get cracking. The aftermath of cutting the timber slats, and you can see here I've just got one in position. Let's have a bit of a look. We've got them stained. They're somewhat dry. They're not really dry, but whatever. A little bit different color to the bottom ones, but that's all right. I wasn't really trying to match them. So now comes the tricky part. We've got to try and line all the holes up. If I just put you guys over here. Yeah, so the idea is we need to put this piece over the top, and it's got a bolt through like that. Obviously there's a gap all the way around. It's definitely a two-person job, and Lazy's nowhere to be found. I'll just try and do it myself. Let's give it a crack.
2 hours later.
Well, there you go, guys. I pretty much just banged it together. I had only a couple of hours today to work on it, so I just didn't want to bore you with the assembly part, but you guys get the gist of it. You know, you're drilling a few holes and we're putting the timber on, and then the hoops on top of the hoop. The center section, which is just a piece of strapping that gets bolted on. And that's pretty much how the factory one was. Get a better look of it back here. Yeah, I think she looks quite cute. Now, the surprise is, look at this brake light. It's a monster. Wait till I turn that on. I've gone and put a massive LED red globe behind it. So, yeah, no one's going to be running up the rear end of me anytime soon. We'll see what happens. I'll just shut the gates here. But yeah, so we're going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brake lights on this thing. So, yeah, there's no excuses if anyone smashes into me. I know this... People will comment that's supposed to hang down a bit further, but I just didn't want it there for someone getting their head sliced open. And I mean, I'll probably run it like this. We won't go with the canvas cover, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get them made up. Now, of course, with this beautiful spotlight, you guys want to see it in action, right? So I'm going to put you right here on the tripod, and you're going to get to see this thing in all its glory. Yeah, they're going to see me coming. That's built, done, ticked off, and I did have a rust hole in the exhaust, which I had to weld up, and it was making a racket, and I thought it was the tappets, but it wasn't. All in all, that's finished, and I have a show coming up soon, so I will be videoing this. We're going to be doing the Great Ocean Road very soon, and you guys will be a part of that. I will video quite a lot of it. So... there you go, guys. That's pretty much going to wrap this one up. Again, cheers for sticking around. You know, pretty basic one, this one. We'll catch you guys in the next episode, and we'll see you again. You.